If anyone tells you that they just got the right person for the job when it comes to actors, point to this video, because we have The Witcher casting director admitting that she uses her job to, quote, affect change in viewers and manipulate their quote, their unconscious bias. Yes, indeed, that is what she said. Casting director Stephanie Holland recently did an interview as part of Janelle Riley's Acting Up newsletter, and it was subsequently posted or published by Variety. And she was first asked about which project confirmed she wanted to work in the field of casting. And not only did she reveal which work confirmed that, but she also explained what her goal is as a casting director. She said, I think the first time I felt like a casting director was when I worked on something called The Kill Team by Dan Krause, which was the story of American soldiers over in Afghanistan. It was the first time I understood that casting wasn't just about finding beautiful people who could do the American accent convincingly, but that casting could have a real profound impact on the people watching it. So she thinks that by casting certain people, you can have a profound impact on the viewers. She later added, you can affect change in whatever tiny way because you are in people's homes and you're watching this world. And that sort of solidified when I had a child. She's 5 now, and I thought how hard it is to be a girl. So she's actively saying that she wants to affect change in the viewers through the people that she is casting. And we'll find out that this means even eschewing source material because she wants to push her political viewpoints. And she explains here using her daughter, which I think is a sick form of emotional manipulation. As I previously said in my Tom King video, I'm absolutely tired of people using their kids to defend these political insertions that they do. So she says, I remember thinking I have to help her because she's going to come under attack, just like I did, just because she's a girl. Maybe she'll be lucky and get to 9 before somebody calls her the B word. And it made me so sad that she was going to experience that and I couldn't protect her from that. Well, you definitely can protect her from it. There's various ways of doing that. But that's for another video. Nevertheless, she goes on and says, but what I could do is change the way people see women through casting. I can make them powerful and empowering, and the floodgates will open to them. So she thinks by changing the way women are depicted on screen and the characters that they get to play, she thinks she can protect her daughter from vicious attacks from other kids that she thinks are going to happen. And this is how she justifies, or at least this is how she's justifying her pushing her political views in the casting, the identity politics that she is doing, and the feminism that she is pushing. So she went on to reveal she applies this theory to every job she takes on. So it's not just a one-off, it's literally everything she does. She said, I do apply this theory to everything, and it makes me push boundaries a little harder because I think representation is important, not just for women, but all minority groups. Women are not minorities. I don't know why this myth is out there. I'm pretty sure that there are more women than men in the world. I think it's close. It's like 52 to 48, but there are more women than men in the world. Women are not minorities. I don't know where this ridiculous idea is coming from. I think it might have to do with the fact that men dominate certain industries and women don't, and those are the industries that feminists want women to dominate because I guess they're jealous or envious for whatever reason. I think that might be where it comes from. That's a big like Western American thing. Like people have different physical abilities, and I think it's important they're seen in strong and fierce roles. Realizing this was a real moment of falling in love with my craft in a way that feels very specific to me. So this is the person you basically can blame for the strong female lead that all of the big Hollywood actresses are just like, this is ridiculous. I can't stand this. Please stop putting this on us. I don't want to do characters like this. I think Emily Blunt has said stuff to that effect. Maybe Cate Blanchett off the top of my head. There have been a couple others that have made similar comments. But she's the one saying that this is exactly what she's trying to do. Strong and fierce roles. That's what we need for women. And that's what I want to do. And that's how I cast my women. She then specifically talked about the race replacement of Yennefer in The Witcher. She says, I am always the first to champion diversity in all its glory. One thing that springs to mind was the character of Yennefer on The Witcher. Lauren Schmidt-Histrick is the showrunner, and we work so well together, and she's so open to conversations. In the book, she's described as the most beautiful woman in the world. We'll get to the actual book description. She has a very clear description of how she is depicted, and that is not how they chose to depict her with the casting in this show. And we'll see why. She says, this was a few years ago, and I'd like to think things have changed, but when you think about people's unconscious bias, especially in the fantasy world, it felt like these worlds were predominantly white. So she has a clear problem with white people being depicted in fantasy roles where they're being depicted as beautiful women. That's very clear. She's making that abundant. That is what she is saying right here. Doesn't matter that that is the source material. Doesn't matter that that is the books that Netflix chose to adapt because they clearly saw something in the IP. Maybe because the characters were actually interesting and they had a massive successful video game that depicted the characters in a certain way and was like had a very compelling story and characters as well. Maybe that's why they chose to adapt it. And then you have someone come in and it's just like, nah, I'm going to put my political viewpoints into it. Because I really don't like white people looking beautiful. I mean, it's sick stuff here. It's absolutely sick and disgusting stuff. She goes on and says, and I remember saying, I feel like we need to challenge what people think of as the standard of beauty, and having a woman of color in this role does incredibly powerful things to the people watching. So she's basically saying non-whites are ugly, and so I need to make it so that they're not as ugly. Like, I mean, what? I mean, how insulting can you be? How insulting can you be here? I mean, just disgusting. Just absolutely vile way of thinking about the world. So I told you we were going to get to how author, I'm going to butcher his name, author Andra Sapkowski described Yennefer in The Last Witch, the book that she was introduced in. This is how he describes her. A pale, triangular face, violet eyes, and narrow, slightly contorted lips appear beneath the black tresses. Like, very clear description that she is pale, right? And when you think of pale, you think of white. Like, I'm pale. I'm a very pale person. So that's what you think of when you think of white. That's how she's been depicted. You see it in the video games. I haven't looked at the covers. I'm sure she's depicted that way on the covers. It's the way she's depicted in all the fan art, because that is how he describes her depiction, because those people are depicting her the way she is described. And then just kind of going over here, she and Histrick, the showrunner, clearly chose to cast an actress, in this case, Anya Chalotra, who is a beautiful, beautiful woman that did not look like how the character was depicted in Sapkowski's original works, and she did it because she apparently has an issue with white women being depicted and described as being beautiful. So I do think that Anya Chalotra is a very gorgeous woman, but the problem is she doesn't look like Yennefer. She just doesn't. She doesn't look like her. And we now know why she doesn't look like Yennefer. It is because this woman wanted to insert her identity politics philosophy, her feminism, onto the show and into how she does casting practices. And she clearly seems to do it on all of the shows she works on. And she works on a number of shows at Netflix. She not only works on The Witcher, she works on, let's go up here. She works on Wednesday, Shadow and Bone, which is, I believe, is at Netflix as well. And then Prime Video's The Peripheral, just to name a few. So this is what we're dealing with Hollywood and casting practices. They are not casting the best person for the role. They are specifically casting based on race. We have this from a casting director doing this. This is confirmation. This is further confirmation because we know that they have the quotas in all of their DEI programming. Amazon, Walt Disney Company, they all have it. They all have the quotas. This is confirmation that the casting directors are also pushing it via an identity politics feminism angle.